Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for Friday, November the 4th. There's not a lot to talk about with the S&P 500 here. It's all pretty straightforward. We should see a move down onto the 3650 and then some type of correction at that point and then down. So this trend here needs to have a counter trend, and there's a lot of support at this level here for this. So it's this bounce that we're really waiting for at the moment for this. So kind of mentioned that yesterday in a way, but so we don't really want to add to positions here. I mean, you can do. I mean, obviously you can short and do whatever you need to do, but it's really over this side that we need to be building the trade, because now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Then we just need to build it over here. Now, will it pull back? Will it retest the 61.8%, the 38 to 3800 here? Not quite sure about that. We'll just have to count the waves as it does that. I mean, we've also got to be a little bit careful because we're really looking at Thursday being a bit of a corrective rally, in the bullish weekly cycle, the bearish weekly cycle is kind of the direct opposite of each other, of course. So we should see Friday move down. So there's no harm in shorting here at the moment, for coming down into this. But coming down into the 36 here, you'll need to be a bit careful. If you're going to go down further, let's just say I got this wrong and we're going to come down here further, then that's all possible as well. So you just have to wait for, oopsie-daisy, you just have to wait for like the first low below the level, over here for that, So just sort of to be a bit clear, if you think it's going to go down further, just make sure you've got, something solid to work off at that point. But otherwise, I think waiting for rallies back over this side. So I think I can just really leave it that simple, really, without sort of getting into, making it more complicated than it needs to be. Now, the other markets are a little bit different. The Nasdaq has been the weakest because of Google and Microsoft and Amazon. So Google's in a bit of a weaker situation. The Nasdaq's in a bit of a weaker situation because Google has taken out this low down here, and Amazon and Microsoft are not too far from that point there as well. The other thing too is that when if we do, because there's a possibility this wave 2 could be a B wave here, but if it's a wave 2 here, and then we're going to have wave 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, it could get quite quick over here for this. I would imagine that once we get this wave 3 here and this wave 4 and this wave 5 here, and then we have this wave 1 here, and then we have this wave 2 over here, this is where it will really pick up speed over here, because it'll be the third of the third, and then we'll go the third of the third of the third. So you kind of, think about this in the bigger picture as well, in terms of trend trading. What's your plan with all of this? Do you want to get some short positions in here and then not do anything while it bounces off the low here, and accommodate most of this bounce here? It's kind of worth thinking about a bit, because it'll sink in a bit, and then there'll be the correction will come back up and hit this supply area through here and then go down. It could come higher from that point. Let's just look at what it could do from, if I just take it at straight value, it could come back up into this space here for that. So that's also possible to come back up that high, but there will be good support here, because the time that these wave 1s here and do all this here, that's going to reinforce that being resistance over here, the 3650, which is the lower end of group 2, which is well, it's important actually. So I'm thinking that we'll probably just end up down here or testing, try to find support on this and fail at that point. That's what it, a little bit like this is coming up here and failing at that point. So do you want to have positions here and then look to add onto these positions coming in over, all the bounces on this side? Do you want to hold through that, or just try and get some sort of plan in mind? Because once we start on this leg here, this is it's still not going to be, still going to be some wide swings in this. So it just depends, if we're going to just have a look at this on the weekly chart just for a moment, I think it's worth considering. You might be just normally a short-term trader in all of this, but when you think about it, we can be up here and then end up down at the 3,000, and sometimes I know when I first started, trading, I was in a bull market and I kept getting in and out, and I end up sort of losing money in a bull market, and I look back at it and I thought, oh my God, well, that's a lesson, isn't it? So I think a way to get through and stay in a bear market is really, less is more and wider stops, but the trouble with that, if you put such a small amount of money in the market, it doesn't really hold your interest. You're not really getting that dopamine hit or that serotonin hit or whatever they call it, so it's a tricky thing, but that's a long way, and we can build up at certain points along the way. Okay, anyway, something to mull over on the weekend. So the Nasdaq's a bit weaker, because really when you think about it, the Nasdaq has come down further than the S&P. Now, it's not to say that it can't catch up and things, but this will be the leader to the downside. It's been a bit more volatile and it's got a slightly different count as well. But when you think of this too, if this is a wave two, it could be, the other side to all of this is that this could be an A wave here, a B wave here, and then we have a C wave down here as a WXY as a pattern. That's also possible as well. But they should be at least equal length. So looking at this here, roughly, we can be looking at this here. It could be a lot further down. It could be, if it's a third wave, it's going to be longer than that, so that's pretty sort of wild stuff, isn't it, so yeah, there's a couple of different ways to view all of that, but there we go. So I'll just put these back over here. So getting this wave 2 over here will be sort of interesting as well. Now, it will also come off these lows down here. Look, it might come down, pierce down, further than that. But this is what we need to figure out. So we're looking at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5 here, and then this wave 2 here. So it will be over this side. You don't feel like you're missing anything here. You can see the stochastics on this daily chart sort of, gearing up for the bounce, so, and off these lows. And the wave count fits that as well. So there'll be something, there'll be down a bit further probably, but there'll be something like this here, and then the ABC pattern bouncing off that low there, and then coming down at that point. We're going to go to the 5K and the 100 here for this. So that's our B wave up here, and then we've got all the way down for wave 1 here, and then the ABC for wave 2 here, and then we're going down at this point. So this is about the best I can get it so far in terms of being bearish. So we'll look at this as 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2, and then all as 5, 1, 2 in here. We'll take a closer look at that, and 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave there, and we'll go down for the fifth wave at this point. So we could put some levels in here. The 500 is important. The next number after 5 is 8, and then we've got 650 at that point, which is the lower end of group 2, so that's going to play out. And we've got 72 in here, which will be 720, and I'll just give that. So this is all of group 2 here, and that's really where the market is at the moment, as you can see. So we're looking for this little structure to come down here as a 5th wave. We'll see how that plays out. We still need this 4th wave here and a 5th wave. I could probably jam them up a little bit closer here with all of this, but I'll just leave it for the time being. Like I could put wave 3 over here for that, and do it that way. Let me just have a look at something for a moment. Just want to have a look at okay. Sorry about that. Just checking a couple of other charts. I just want to make sure that I'm in the right space for this. Yeah, it is possible that I'm going to leave that here and leave that here, but it's not really going to bother us. I will get it. The thing is that this could also be a wave 4 here. It's a little bit short. I know that. I think I'll just leave it the way it is for a moment. I'll just go to the 100 ticks. It's this wave 2 over here that we want. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't for the short-term traders. It matters, but for the longer-term traders, it's this wave 2 that we're looking for. I mean, what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to think of Microsoft and Google and Amazon at the same time, you know, and bringing this into here. Because you've got stocks like Nvidia and other stocks that are quite much higher and haven't really fallen out of bed yet, you know what I mean? So they sort of hold up the count a bit. It doesn't really matter. This will resolve itself shortly, and then it's really this one here that we want. You know, we want that ABC pattern to come into play over here, wherever that is, and that might come back up here further. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But this is the one that we want, and it's this one we want to build in over here. So simple day trading here for the time being. I'll just have a look at the triple Q here for a moment. I think it's pretty much the same story here. I'll just update this anyway while I'm here. It's pretty clean at this point, isn't it, as a structure here? So we could probably just come down to here for this, and then this. Just trying to think about that for a moment. Yeah, it's pretty much, that's it, really. I think that's it. And then the wave 2 over here. See, the thing that we got to understand with this market is that it's, you know, it's much closer to the low here for this. So it's going to be, let's put these, fill in all the dots. Anyway, it doesn't matter too much at this point. I'm just going to fill these in here because they're important numbers that are going to make the market bounce around a bit. And this 265 is going to play out a little bit later on, and that's all of group 2 and 72 in here, so that will be 72. So this is minor group 2, 65, 72 and 80 in here, and we just normally give that splash of color just to identify it. So basically what it's doing here is it's finding group 2 here as the resistance here. So it'll check it again, because the normal thing would be something like this, you know, come back up and check it and try to and fail at that point, you know, fail to get in there. And this is where we want to be over here. We want this, you know, we want to be building in over here. We don't want, you can short here, but you have to get out here, you know. I mean, obviously that previous low is going to play its part there as well. So just be aware of 255. That would be a target to trade to the downside. But yeah, it is this side over here that we're looking for. I mean, it was a little bit tough, all of this here. I mean, this whole mess up here, I couldn't really get it the way that I wanted it to. But yeah, I mean, we got the S&P nicely, but the rest of them were a little bit rough and ready. Okay, well, that's the Nasdaq. So the plan is we're going to be waiting. We're going to get it over here, and that will mean a lot of stocks too. By the way, do you know? You know, if you're going to short the Amazons and that of the world. So this is really just the moving average of all of that stuff. Okay, so the Russell. Yes. I'm going to leave this as wave 1 here, and then the A wave, and then an A, B, and C here, because I got 5 waves here for the B wave, and then up for the C wave I've got 5 waves here, so that works quite well at that point. And then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 the third wave, 4th wave here. So I still need, this is a bit of out of sync with the this is out of sync with not the S&P but the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's slightly different, but it's this one over here that we want with this. Will we come that high? I don't know. We just need to do our thing at that point. I mean, this one here on the ETF could be counted differently. I'll just have a look at the ETF here for a moment. What degree of structure we've got with that? Okay, so we've got that one. So with this one, we don't need these. One, two. That's all of the, gee, it looks like 5 waves there, doesn't it though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, 2. I could probably get 3, 4, 5 out of that. So this one can be counted a bit differently. If you've got it differently, that would be all right. We could go, in this case, we could go 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave here, and then the 4th wave here, and then the 5th wave here. So it's it counts a little bit differently here. It doesn't give you a very good ABC pattern though. Anyway, doesn't really matter at this point. We're not where we need to be at this stage. We want this here. We want this over here somewhere. We want this. And we want that. What else do we need? A 5er. And then we can bring this A wave, B wave, and C wave over here for that. That will be like head and shoulders here, you know what I mean? For that sort of, I mean, I'm not much of a traditional sort of person, only with manners. But yeah, so let's just, doesn't really matter. I don't think we need to get caught up in too much at the moment. I mean, I know it makes you feel like you're missing something at the moment. I understand that. But really it is this side over here. The only thing that could go wrong is this whole thing could cascade down, and on, you know, if Friday closes really weak, down, you know, comes down really weak on the Friday, well then the Monday's likely to follow that as well. We're not going to get our ABC correction here, you know. We have to be a little bit mindful about that as well. So we want Friday to come down, but we also want to see that bounce come back in too, you know, which is a little bit sort of unlikely really. Yeah, I mean, Monday should follow through on Friday. So we'll see what happens there. It'll be good if Friday does this here, and then and then sees a bit of bullishness in the market. Do you know what I mean? So we can get that rally there. This will be in line with the S&P, but not in line with the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq will be a little bit weaker at that point. And this, yeah, just the Russell here. So what do we got of support over here? Let me just have a closer look. Well, it kind of makes sense coming into this and bouncing off that, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? I think we're not going to be far wrong. We could come deeper into this. You know, I expected Thursday to be the rally yesterday, to last session, and then I think Friday and Monday to be down. But, you know, where we're going to get this from? That's what bugging me a little bit. Let's have a look at the Dow Jones. So the Dow's completely different again as well. It's had a different thing. But if that's going to push down, then we'd have to bring wave 2 onto that, wouldn't we? I mean, we have to take it from that top there, and then we'd look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. But is that going to give us another move up here for that? And then down? Maybe not. You have to be careful about getting trapped here, I reckon, if you're trading this. I mean, most folks trade the Russell, don't they? I think because of the cheaper futures contracts. So just be mindful. We could get something like this here and then go back up and test. Now, I don't see that in this count. But the thing is that's pretty much what the S&P and that's going to do, isn't it? You know, so yeah, I'd probably just make this one a little bit lighter on. I mean, it would be good if it you know comes down here and then moves up there. Then we can look at this as we could look to short that box at that point. Don't overdo it though, because we're just at the beginning of the trend. But yeah, and this one here, I think we just need to take that a little bit lighter and do a part position there, because we could get trapped a little bit later on with that. You need to be able to hold that one, you know, to keep above here in all of that. So just, you know, if you're going to short that, just think about that, you know, because when the S&P and that rallies, that's going to that's going to be a bit of a tricky situation, you know. So like when the S&P, if it's bringing the S&P here, if the S&P comes down here and then has that rally here, that's what I'm thinking over here. It could have this move down here and then that rally back here. But what does that do for this count, you know, because they'll move kind of reasonably in sync with each other. Maybe the cash market didn't take the top out here in the Dow. Probably did. I'll just check. Yep, it took the top out here. It did that. Oh well, let's just see. But just be mindful about this, what's going on with the S&P here. It can have this move down and then a move up to here. So this could do the same at this point. In fact, I'm going to take that off there. I think we're just going to get trapped. I'll just wait until we know what's going on. Alrighty, I'm going to leave it all at that. So thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the weekend. Cheers.